Well, it's a balmy 57 degrees down here in the shop, and I have just wrapped up all of the rebuild work on the deflection board for the Predicta Tandem. All new sockets, all new networks, the whole 9 yards. The last thing I need to do with this, though, is to go around and clean all of these terminals. The ones for the ground connections already have solder on them, so they're okay. But I need to deoxidize the rest of these because I am going to solder all of the wires back to this board for good continuity. And I'll probably wind up trimming off the old wire, stripping a little bit of clean stuff, if I can, and then using that to ensure, because trying to solder directly onto these pins is just completely futile. I tried doing that on my Holiday, and it just fought me every step of the way because of how nasty the metal was. So I'll probably have to get some fine grit sandpaper, come in here and scuff every single one of these, and then I'll drop the board back in and get it wired in. One thing I do need to do, though, before I can just plop it back in, though, is the little ground... The ground terminals drop into these U-shaped divots in here, and they're currently plugged with solder, so I'm going to need to extract all of that and get them all cleaned up because I like to use fresh solder in there. And I've gone underneath the board and gotten all the dirt off of it, tried to take care of some oxidation issues that were below the fusible resistor. And I've also been wiping down all of the original wires so that the colors show through and I have some idea of what I'm working with, because like this wire up here, sorry you can't really see it, this guy's blue. When I first took this apart, it was pretty well tobacco brown. Couldn't tell what it was. So I gotta make sure I get everything back. I did take photos of this one because there are a few extra wires and it's not exactly identical to the Holiday's layout. So don't want to get too lost on that. But yeah, overall, it's been going pretty well. But we need to get that back in there and see how this performs with all new parts. Well, I wish I could say that everything went smoothly getting the board back in. I had a more or less easy time getting all the wires reattached where they needed to be and soldered into place. And then I decided to put the tubes in, and I got to this little bastard right here, and as soon as I pushed and tried to wiggle the tube into place, two of the contacts inside it crushed completely inward. Pin number 2 and pin number 4 here. I don't know how easy it is. That one actually folded in on itself backwards, and this one collapsed on one side, rendering this socket totally worthless. The problem is, I've already soldered the whole thing in. I had everything locked down, and there is no access to the back of this board once that socket is in there. So after throwing a few things at the wall and almost breaking my phone, I looked at it and decided that the simplest solution was just to do what I'm sure a technician of the period would have done. I lopped the socket off the top, getting the as much of the pins that I'd inserted from the board sticking as possible. Unfortunately, pin number 9, upon clipping it, tore out the trace that was there on the bottom of the board, and I had to shake that out. Mercifully, pin number 9 does nothing but go to this binding post right here, so I was able to cheat and run a lead to that, so yay. This is just, I should have used these from the beginning. These are original Amphenol, pretty sure these are Amphenol sockets. I think I'm going to stray away from using those ceramic boogers the next time when I do my other set, and I'll just try and find some new old stock ones like this. So I think these are the pins are probably a little less likely to fail instantly. Yeah. Anyway, I need to find the tube that goes in here. I just plopped this on top, lined up the pins, I tinned all the connections, and then just soldered these leads directly to the remnants that were there. I'm going to try and be gentle on putting the tube back if I can figure out what I did with it. I set it down somewhere. That should be... yeah, the 10DE7. That's the vertical oscillator and vertical output tube. I really hope that doesn't have any issues. Yeah, this guy right here. Because the pins aren't out of alignment or anything. It should just wiggle right back in there. Okay. So here's hoping that that works out all right. That means I need to clear some table space, and we need to drag the monitor back up here. So hopefully I don't get copyright struck for this, but the audio is coming through from the blonder tongue pretty well. That's contrast. Oh, hang on, here's the fine-tuning. Where is it?
Just pass on by me, stay out of my way. Cause a little deep thinking might drive you to drinking. Just taking it easy.
It doesn't look great, but it's...
I'm finding it easy.
Now hold still.
To mind my own business.
Okay.
I'm keeping my nose out.
Oh, okay, there we go. Focus kind of sucks, not gonna lie.
Ain't hiring no people, just taking it easy. It's a lazy day. Lloyd, hang on to the ladder.
No, I don't know why in carnation we have to go to all this fuss.
Alright, let's bump it up to 115 volts.
Just courtesy, you might say. He's been paying us good wages for 3 years.
Yes, but if you'd have had any gumption, you'd have spent those 3 years, but I can't borrow.
There's 120 volts.
Who do you reckon they are?
Contrast in this scene is pretty bad. Not a lot of detail.
Oh, yeah, even the cold the way up here. Not very sociable, I must say.
Look, there's no rushing. Come on back to the office and we'll talk it over. This is something that I can't disregard. My job.
Don't have much in the way of volume. That's cranked up all the way on the external speaker.
Any luck? One's dead. Mine must be down.
But on the whole, it's pretty stable. Let me, hang on, let me try something here. Okay, that's channel 3? Might be in the fly back there. But, unlike the last set, no vertical rolling or horizontal rolling. Seems to be staying locked to the signal pretty decently, honestly. I might have to try changing the position of the focus jumper in the on the back of the CRT to see if that improves the detail any. And again, the movie I'm using is from about 1938, I think, and it wasn't very high fidelity to begin with, but I swear it should look a little better than this. I really ought to get a different DVD to try out here and see if I can get a clearer image. I did jostle a little bit there, and I haven't confirmed whether the blonder tongue is set to channel 3 or 4, but it seems to be... I don't know, which one looks better? That one? I think this on channel 3 has a little more detail, but there's more buzz in the audio.
Try to tell anybody else besides you? You didn't get a chance to. Look, if this thing isn't discovered for a couple of months, those trees can't be saved. They'll die and have to be cut. Instead of only the trees designated for forest.
But the audio output is still
That's the answer to our problem.
honestly quite weak.
And with our exclusive contact with the state, we'll have a lot of people.
So before I wrap this up, I think I'll connect the composite video connection of the DVD player direct to that post over there, and we'll just see if the picture quality improves or not. Unfortunately, because the sound isn't modulated direct out of the DVD player, I won't be able to test that, but I can see if the picture clarity improves any. Okay, still have a little bit of battery left on the camera here. Right now, I have the composite video connection disconnected from the IF strip here. So the output from the DVD player is jacked directly into the deflection board, and it's locked in nicely once it warmed up all the way, which took a few seconds. I'm curious to see what the clarity is like. I'll have to go back and look at my other footage to see if there's any real difference. Again, haven't worked on the IF strip, so if there is any major difference, that's probably where it is, and also a good cleaning of the tuner. And then, of course, there's also the little focus thingy, which I don't remember how easy that is to access with the cover plate off the back of the unit. But honestly, with the direct composite input, it is fantastically stable. I mean, it was pretty stable going through the RF section. But I'm really happy this doesn't have the same issues that the Princess had, where it was a lot of fighting to get it stable. This is actually rock solid right out of the gate. I can twiddle the vertical, of course, and get some roll, but just a light nudge, and there it is. Horizontal has absolutely perfectly happy where it is. And right about dead center of the control is where it locks in, so I think we're good to leave it alone. And like I said earlier, the audio output on this is not modulated, so the only way I would actually be able to hook it in there is to find the grid of the 6AQ5 output tube. Or sorry, this is a 5AQ5, a little different. And I don't think that's really going to do what I want. Yeah. It's not bad. I will say though, let's see. That's maybe about halfway up on the brightness control there. That's maximum brightness. You lose a little bit of the darks though, so a little underneath that seems to be happy. Now the contrast control on this, I had to look at the schematic. The contrast control, I believe, is actually part of the automatic gain circuit. Or at least it pulls off of that feed. Yes, the IF AGC connection goes right to the center tap of the contrast control, and one half goes to the grid of the video amplifier tube, or at least the half that's being used for that. The other half looks like it comes out of the sync separator network. Okay. Now, I haven't tested these tubes to see how strong they are, so it's possible that my audio output tube is just really, really weak. So I'll need to go through and verify that. But, yeah, so far so good. Comparing the two videos, the one on the left is the direct composite input, and the one on the right is going through the RF stages. Detail is pretty decent in both of them, but I think it's better in the direct input, although it lacks the contrast levels that you would get from going through the RF stages, because the gain is actually controlled by the contrast control. On the whole, though, not bad, but I'd like to try it with a slightly newer movie. That being said, I think this will do it for this one. I'm going to do some more investigation on the video side of things. And I'm also going to start looking into the audio section. So until then, hope everyone had a Merry Christmas, and looking forward to the new year. Thanks for watching.